what you're seeing here is the Melt UI. If you go to um, meltapi.com, you'll get this screen here. And what you're going to do is just click sign up. And sign up is going to put in, so I ask you a couple pieces of information. So I'm just going to do Mac at meltapi.com, pick a little password, okay, and put in, okay, and let's sign up, okay. So the first thing you're going to do here is really define your Fusion PBX server. So in this case, it's going to, we kind of have it kind of in the easy wizard mode, meaning that it's going to expect all of the configuration of the Fusion PBX server to be the default configuration. So that means all the ports and things of that nature are all default. If it's not, send us a message on support and we'll set it up for you. The next release of the UI will give you more options to customize. So you can use IP address or host name. So now that we've put in our Fusion PBX IP or host name, we'll click next. What's going to happen is it's going to generate a API key and a config ID. API key obviously allows you to be able to communicate with the Melt API. We know who you are. The config ID is really used to specify that Fusion PBX server that we just put in, right? So every Fusion PBX server, or in more generic terms, any PBX that works with Melt will have a config ID, right? So this is basically an alias for the host name of the machine. So we have these two pieces of information. So I'm just going to just put it off to the side for me for right now. So I'm going to take the API key and I'm going to take the config ID. Okay. And I'm going to put them both to the side. So the next thing I'm going to do here is give Melt API permissions. And the way you give it permissions is that you'll connect to your PBX. In this case, it's your Fusion PBX, and you're going to run this particular command. So I am going to take that command, and we are going to run it on a system I have here. So let me just grab another machine here. And I'm going to do present. All right. All right. So what we're going to do is connect to a box I have. Let me make the screen a little bit bigger here. And make sure y'all can see it. Cool. And I'm going to do SSH to my test system, Fusion PBX dciprouter.net. All right, so we're on this box. So I'm going to take that command that I have here, and I'm going to replace the API key. Okay. So, and actually, we're missing the header here, prioritization, and it's going to be bearer, and then we're going to put the actual token in that we received. Okay. Okay. And what this is going to do is actually download a script, and then it's going to pipe it to Bash. Okay. All right, so what it's doing is actually giving some permissions to the Melt API so that it can connect to this machine and do its magic. All right, so now that that is actually done, we're going to go back to our, um, Melt API portal. Okay. And what we're going to do now is just test that this all worked. So these are the domains that are inside of this system. So now we basically um, are connected to my Fusion PBX box, and we can see all the domains. So this is just a quick test to validate that's the case. Now that that is you're connected, now you can actually use the actual API to do whatever you want to that particular system in regards to provisioning. So let me just show you that um, that particular API, and and let me get to that screen. And let's do that. There it is. So, so once you get to you can actually use Postman to look at the Melt API. At the end of the process of actually signing up for the Melt API, we actually give you a link, a direct link to this Postman, but you can go find it. It's on the Postman public network. You can go type in Melt API, and you can see here that we have, you know, it for we have API for outbound route domains. You can do a get, post, put, delete, creating an extension, same thing. Get, post, put, delete, a destination, which is for inbound calling, and for setting up gateways for going outbound. So all of these can be manipulated to fit your use case. If you want to validate that things are working, you can use this API. So if you just want to just quickly just look at let's say domains, you can actually create a environment inside of Postman, and if this particular so this particular Postman collection already has all the variables kind of already set up for you. So you can create an environment, and it'll inherit these configuration parameters. And what you're going to do is just change out so it has uh, the API key that was created. So I'm going to put the API token here, and I'm going to put in the config ID, which was created when I actually signed up as well. So now those are set. And let's go ahead and just save these parameters. Now I can go back to my collection here, and let's just pick you know a a the get domains. One of the in order to get the domain, because you could have multiple domains associated with your API. So you just specify the actual config ID on the URL. So in this case, the expected behavior here is that it's going to go off and grab all of the domains for us. Very much what we saw on the MeltAPI screen. So this is what you see here. You're seeing all the domains that is on this particular system. Also, if you wanted to, and you can go through a number of these APIs to create extensions, create destinations. One flow that we already have configured here is called the new customer flow. So you actually can go through this flow, and you can actually just run a normal new customer setup. So this is like creating a domain, creating extensions, destinations, gateways, and things of that nature. So let's go ahead and do that. So in order to do that, let's go back and look at our environment that we have set up here. And let's just say we want to create a new domain called Let's Go 3. So we're just specifying a domain that we want to create because we have all this parameterized. So let me just save that. Everything else is saved. And then what we can do is say run collection. I'm going to just put these in order. For some reason, Postman doesn't keep the order for me. All right. So now I'm in order. So I have, create a domain. Number 2, create an extension. 3, destination gateway outbound. So let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. And mind you, I've already set up the environment. So it has our config ID, it has our API token, and it has the domain that I want to create, which is Let's Go 3. So I'm going to run this new customer workflow. Cool. So it went through and did all the things we needed to do. And we can actually go and log into that Fusion box and actually see it. Or you can actually go download a new Bash client that we're creating here. So I'm going to demo that. So you'll see what that looks like as well. So you can go download this. That client is free. We're still building it out. So please give us feedback on it. But it's just an example of what you can do with this. So let me just stop this share, and I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen, grab a window here, and I'm going to grab this one here. I think this is the right window I want. Notes, jump. I think so. All right, cool. All right, so what we're gonna do is go to my machine here. All right, this is my machine. I have there's a project under the D open source organization called MeltAPI Client-Bash. So we'll have all the clients there. And what we're going to do is, let's just take a look at this client here. Well, looking at the client is not that exciting, but we have 2 environment variables that we need to set. So we're going to set MeltAPI underscore token, and we're going to set that to the token that we actually was created for us when we registered our server. Okay, and that's that. And then I'm going to do a set MeltAPI config ID, and that is the config ID that is mapped to the actual Fusion PBX server that we created, or we not created, but we defined. And okay, so assuming I set these properly, so we should be able to use the client. The client's pretty simple. You can just do a melt API, hit enter. And right now, it has support for domains, so managing domains. But soon it will have support for all of the major entities that we support. Like I said, extensions, domains, outbound routes, destination, gateways, right? So you'll be able to use it for setting up and managing those components. But in this case, I'm just going to put in domain, and I'm going to put in the word get, and I'm just going to have it run and see what happens here. Cool. So wow, it's pretty fast. Look at that. It's 27 domains, and you can see that Let's Go 3 domain is there. And you could also delete that particular domain if you want to by using the domain ID or the domain UUID. We actually have it there for both. We just basically alias for one another. But you can just do delete and you can specify the domain ID. And then we can actually do a get here. And we can see that that domain is no longer here, right? And you can do a add here as well. And you can specify the name of the domain you want to do. Use a router. I'll put that domain back. Maybe I made a mistake and I want to delete it, right? And when you do that, it returns a domain ID. And then you can do a get again to see it's there. So, and this is all interacting with the Melt API. So I just wanted to spend a little bit of time talking to you about what Melt is, what was the underpinnings that actually kind of kicked off wanting to build this project in the beginning, the journey that typically a company or a person that's building a VoIP company goes through, so you kind of understand where Melt fits into place. And I really appreciate everyone that supported me for when we were building out DSIP router. It's been now 6 years. So 6 or 7 years actually now. So this new project, this marks a new journey. You will see the Melt API and a strong integration with DSIP router as well. So I just wanted to stop by and let you know what's happening with Melt. So I'll talk to you soon. Take care.